Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today is November 9th, 2022, and the news is sponsored by Analogue Spotlight, a group of photographic retailers and manufacturers who have joined together to support analog photographic media and help keep analog photography thriving worldwide. The brands are listed up on my head, but also are Cameradactyl, Cosmo Foto, Chroma cameras, Reveni labs, RealitySoSubtle, Intrepid cameras, Pixl-ltr, Brooklyn film cameras, ONDU cameras, standard cameras, 20th century cameras, Pictoriographica, Analogue, Wonderland, Cinestill large format camera store, Carmencita film lab, RH Designs, Imago, and Alvandi cameras. So thanks to them, the news are free. Those have asked before, has the sponsorship run out? That's why you stopped doing news. No, the sponsorship is still like 26 more episodes. It's just me being busy and not being able to perform the news. But thankfully, I'm here again. So, first of all, last week I forgot a couple news because, as I said, I had such a backlog that I forgot a few. So I made myself some notes. Let's start with Kodak. Kodak, on a 1 minute and 30-second podcast called Rochester Podcast something, some kind of like Rochester business, something. The Kodak Rochester one, the one that manufactures the film, that manufactures all that stuff in the US. Not Kodak Alaris, the one that distributes and sells the still photography rolls, so these rolls, has made an announcement that they've been going crazy demand, that they're not being able to keep up with the demand, that they've hired over 300 people and will hire more. And obviously in old Kodak numbers, that would be small, but considering it's 2022 and film is, still kicking, it's pretty good numbers. One thing that also is very interesting from that, it's also a Twitter feed, if you want to read that, or thread. They say that they used to be running 5 days a week, so let's say Monday to Friday, one shift for film production. And now they're running 3 shifts every day of the week. So 24/7 machine is running. It's always been said that the main problem is converting, which means finishing the canister like this. It's not making the film. So that is why there's, multiple people repackaging cinema film, stuff like that, because it's possible for Kodak to manufacture more master rolls but not to finish them. And their converting line is kind of in line with their coating. So I guess they can remove master rolls, but I don't know if they can feed master rolls to the converting. I don't really know. I do know people like Ilford can do that, but maybe not Kodak. So that's big news. It means Kodak is trying its best to scale their operation to keep up with demand. That is good. The demand is up. And talking about Kodak, there's also Kodak's third quarter financials being published. I am no expert in news. As you can see, my professional attire, I'm even less professional in financial analysis. So if anybody with more knowledge wants to peek at it and say, is Kodak doing okay or not? I would love to know. But it seems that they're doing okay-ish. From what I saw. So let's get to the next news. Then we have TT Artisans with a new 28mm 5.6, a new finish in gold and titanium. These are brass with, I guess, a finish in gold and a finish in titanium. They're pretty cool. Remember, it's kind of reminiscent of the Leica Sumeron 28 5.6, very small lens. I have the original Leica, like the one that's screw mount, and I love it. But this is the TT Artisans gold and titanium. Chroma camera, which I announced last week, had changed their website. Basically has discontinued their Chroma Carbon Adventure. This was their 4x5 folding camera. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve announced that they had a huge bump up in prices for the carbon filament he was using for 3D printing. And basically, it takes a lot of time to make the cameras, etc. So he has discontinued them. He does still have the snapshot, which is a 4x5. camera, so he still has 4x5 stuff, large format stuff, but not the Carbon Adventurer. I don't know if he'll be wanting to make something like this in the future, but it would be great to see because it's nice to see field cameras also. Then Ilford has been making a lot of YouTube content, very high quality content, and they've launched, the last video has been master printers, and they're based, I think, in New York, and they're talking about how darkroom printing is still something that's extremely, you know, it's going on, and it's going on at a professional level where photographers have their own master printers which work with them, and some of them even just print for the one photographer, and they're doing murals, they're doing humongous prints, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and even with hybrid technology where they are using digital or scans and then printing through laser or lambda or anything like this, which is really cool. I highly recommend you watch the videos, like 25 minutes long. It doesn't feel long. It was very well executed, so congratulations to Ilford and the people behind the video. I very much enjoyed it. Then Jobo has, I think I announced it last week, but Jobo's chemicals are available now. So Jobo has released, like I said, C41, E6, and ECN2 chemical kits. I think they're 2.5 liters. They're made in Japan, distributed only in Europe. So don't try to get them anywhere out of Europe as far as I know. And E6 is a 6-step. So they've removed bleach and fix, and it's not Blix like Tatanals, but separate, which I prefer. So yeah, that's pretty cool news. And the prices are like 70 to 99 euros, depending, 75 to 99, depending on the chemicals you buy. Sorry, my hard drive got full, so if there's a weird cut, that's why. So the next news is Retrospekt and their SX70. There's a 50th anniversary gold special edition of the SX70. Retrospekt, if you don't know, is basically reconditioning and fixing and remaking parts for the SX70, but also other products based in the USA. And they've made a special 50th anniversary gold edition of the SX70. It is $999, so $1,000, and you can buy it right now. But that's pretty cool to see. I think it looks really nice. Talking about Polaroid, we have a format of Polaroid that actually died. You remember the Polaroid Spectra was discontinued by Polaroid because they said there was not a demand or it was hard to make or something. There was a reasoning, I can't remember. But some people say they actually used the machine to make the Polaroid Go, which is their super small format, to compete with Instax. But the Spectra format died and a lot of cameras are getting dumped. And Polaroid Studios, or Pola Studios, Studio has made a Spectra adapter. And how does this work? Well, the Spectra film was wider, kind of like the Instax wide. And what they've done is use that wideness to include the option to use I-type 600 film, which has no battery, and it has a little battery on the side. So two kind of double A's go on the side and let you eject the film, like if you were using 600 film. So what is good is the Spectra cameras are no longer duds. There are some mods you have to do to the camera cartridge. You can check the link below, but this is pretty cool. And the adapter is $69, but considering the I-type film is cheaper than the normal Polaroid film with battery, then you save money in the long run. So that's super cool. Plus the Spectra cameras are super cheap, and some are super cool. Then we have Reveni Labs' new light meter. So Reveni Labs, as you know, is a sponsor of the show, but also does a small incident light meter, very, very small, like so small you can lose it easily. I have like 3 and I lose them and find them every now and then. And then they made a, what I would call a spot meter, like a fake spot meter because there's no view through. But now they're making a an incident light meter. An incident light meter is like this one, like Gaussian, but the problem is I use this all the time. If I'm using a camera like the K1000, my light meter is broken or have no batteries in it, I'm carrying this in my hand, and if I want to meter, yes, I go ahead and I meter, and then I go, oh yeah, let me put this in the camera, and I want to shoot, and I'm like, my meter's in my hand, so I put it in my pocket. It's annoying. So Reveni Labs, in the fashion of making things differently, they've made a incident light meter that kind of is like a hand grip, kind of like almost like a strap in your hand. And then the meter falls on the top of your hand. You're looking at the pictures right now, so this makes a lot more sense than me talking about it without it. Which, by the way, Matt, I would love to test one. But the idea is that you can hold your camera and have your meter there, so it's not in the way. And it has a little joystick. It does like flash metering and other fancy stuff that's pretty cool. You can check it out. It's available now for pre-order. But yes, if you want a light meter that looks like the other meters and that you can hold while you're shooting a camera that doesn't have a light meter, this is kind of a cool solution from Reveni Labs. Then we have news from Kodak in Japan. Someone wrote me on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, thank you for that, about Kodak in Japan giving a newsletter or press release. So I'll leave the link to the official Japanese release. I do not know Japanese. I use Google Translate, and I will read you what they say. October 2022, last month, notice of termination of domestic sales of Kodak chemicals in Japan. Sino Promise, who are the people that bought some of the chemical and paper business of Kodak. Kodak is a mess. There's so many parts of it. I think I've made a video about it. Sino Promise High-Tech announces the termination of sales of Kodak chemicals, and that includes for color paper processing, color film processing, black and white paper processing, and black and white film processing in Japan. For the Japanese domestic market, basically stopped. The production and sales of Kodak chemicals in all those processes in Japan will cease at the end of November. Kodak chemicals have been produced at Sino Promise High-Tech Wuxi plant in China. However, due to the repeated lockdowns in China caused by the corona disaster over the past several years, the company has been forced to terminate all production and sales of Kodak chemicals in Japan as the end of November. This, like I says, is for Japan, but my guess is this going to happen all around the world? Sino Promise has been having big issues delivering paper for printing, like many labs, chemicals for many labs and stuff like that for Kodak, because they are the Kodak chemical department right now. This is my concern. There have been, like I said, the last year and a half, it's been a disaster with deliveries of paper, chemicals and such. Is this Japan announcement something that's going to happen for the rest of the world? We do not know. But if you are in the business of that stuff and you know something, let me know. But I would be slightly concerned if I was in that business. This doesn't mean that there's going to be any problem with HC110 or other things, because I think Kodak has found ways to make them through other partners, or maybe they are made there. But I think the HC110 sold in Europe is still made by Tetanol because they were partners and such, but we'll see. Then, last week, I announced there was 3 new film cameras, and someone announced and corrected me that there were 4. So remember, there was the M6, obviously, the Lomo Apparat, the Nons SL645, and there's a Fasquelle new 8x10 camera being made in France. This is a camera that first, there's no website or link, so sorry for that, but they will be coming soon. I'll let you know when it is. It's an 8x10 camera based or inspired in the Deerdorf 8x10 made in Chicago, USA. That's no longer made. So it's a high quality 8x10 camera that is now touring the US, showing some important people and businesses about maybe distribution rates and so on. But it's pretty cool, being made in Paris. In France, here in Europe. So if you are into 8x10 and high quality cameras, it might be something to look for. I will probably get my hands on one for testing, obviously not to keep, but I'll let you know what I see and understand from using it for the time I will have it for review. But yeah, thanks for watching. As always, the news is brought to you by Analogue Spotlight, so thanks to them. Also, if you have any information, send me an email to the email below. See you in the next one.